When we think about how a country becomes an export powerhouse, we usually think about one thing making stuff cheap, right? But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Not even close. The real secret to long term success? Well, it's often something you can't even see. It's the system behind the scenes. And today, we're going to look at how this invisible engine is powering Bangladesh. And wow, the results really speak for themselves. We're talking about a staggering 44 billion US dollars in export earnings in recent years. That is a huge number, and it's turned Bangladesh into a major player in South Asia. But, and this is a big but, that giant number hides a really critical weakness. So, take a look at this. When you actually break down that $44 billion, you see the problem almost immediately. It's almost all coming from one single industry, ready-made garments. Now, don't get me wrong, that's been the engine of their growth for years. But it also means the whole economy is basically balancing on one leg. If something happens to that one industry, well, you get the picture. For the country to really thrive, it has to diversify. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. Let's make this challenge personal. Forget the big national economy for a second. Let's talk about what this means for an entrepreneur on the ground. Okay, so put yourself in this situation. You're a business owner in Dhaka. You've got amazing product. Maybe it's beautiful leather goods or some kind of high-tech part. The quality is incredible. You know you could sell this anywhere in the world. You're ready to go global, right? Well, maybe not. Because trying to export all by yourself, it's like walking through a minefield. Seriously. Just finding a buyer you can trust is a huge challenge. But then you've got to figure out all the foreign rules, all the different quality standards, and the biggest question of all, how do you actually make sure you're going to get paid? It's these kinds of hidden hurdles that just crush so many great businesses before they even get started. But what if there was a way to de-risk that entire process? A way to turn all those obstacles into, stepping stones to success? Well, there is, and it's kind of like an exporter's secret weapon. They're called export support services. And really, the name says it all. It's basically a complete professional toolkit designed to guide a company through the entire journey. Think of it like a bridge that connects your amazing local product to a customer on the other side of the world. And the difference it makes is just night and day. Look at this comparison. When you go it alone, you're facing high risks. You're going to make expensive mistakes, and growth is going to be slow, if it happens at all. But with an expert team backing you up, suddenly the risk goes way down. You're not just stumbling into a market, you're entering it strategically, and you build credibility and grow so much faster. All right, so that all sounds good on paper, right? But what does this support actually look like in the real world? Let's break down how this toolkit actually works in practice. It really boils down to a clear three-step path. First up is prepare. This is where the experts help you figure out if you're really ready, which countries are the best fit for your product, and how to position it so global buyers actually want it. Then comes step two, connect. This is huge. They don't just send you a list of names, they actually generate qualified leads and match you with buyers who have already been checked out. And finally, protect and grow. This is where they help you do your homework on partners, get all the right certifications you need for different markets, and build out your online presence so you look like a serious global player. So here's the key takeaway, the most important part of all this. It's a total mindset shift. This isn't just about shipping boxes from point A to point B anymore. No way. It's about building a real, credible, sustainable international business. It's about creating long-term partnerships built on trust. Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second. We've seen how this helps one single business, right? But the ripple effect, the impact on the whole country, that's where things get really fascinating. The source for this explainer, from MD Joynal Obsidian, puts it perfectly with this quote. He calls these services the invisible engine behind successful exporting. And it's a perfect way to describe it, isn't it? It's this powerful machine that you don't really see, but it's constantly running in the background, pushing the entire economy forward. And that engine delivers a massive payoff for the whole country. It drives that much-needed diversification into new sectors. It builds up the credibility of the Made in Bangladesh brand around the world. It makes the entire economy tougher, more resilient to shocks. And maybe most importantly, it helps the country move up the value chain, so it can compete on quality and innovation, not just on price. Which leaves us with this one big question to think about. For any growing economy trying to make its mark on the world, is the real challenge not just making great products, but building that invisible expert support system that allows those products to truly compete and win on the global stage?